It's August 17th, 2021. I'm standing next to a boat that was built almost half a century ago, watching a man I'm paying good money to hit it with a hammer. I want to buy this boat, and worse still, I want to live on it. See, I've wanted this for a long time, ever since I was a kid and my parents had a boat. At 15, I knew I wanted to live on a boat at some point. Enough of all the grainy photos and my history. Let's get back to Elliot here, hitting my boat with a hammer. Well, it's not my boat yet, but it will be. If there's two bits of advice I can give when you're going to buy a boat: one, do it for a broker, and two, get yourself a decent surveyor, somebody you can not just trust, but actually get along with. I'm going to pause it there for a second, because there's a reason I've just said what I just said. And that's because the you-know-what had just hit the fan, because of this stuff. This, as I've written, is stage 3 osmosis. And in the 70s and 80s, it was almost the end of a boat. If not the end, it was going to have some serious work done to the hull. But this is where a good trusted surveyor comes in. Elliot told me that since the 70s and 80s, things had changed. He sent me loads of updated information on it and told me what he thought we should do. I listened to him, I had total trust in him, so we moved forward from there. Oh, there's me, look, the idiot with a cap on. And this is it, a 1974 Ocean 30, twin Mercedes diesel engines. This one's been well loved, well used. It's essentially a project boat, but it's exactly what I've been looking for. I'd already put one offer in on the boat when I first saw it. I put a second offer in after the survey. Took a bit of time, but on the 12th of September 2021, I owned this boat named Barnham. It ended up taking a few days for the previous owner to come down to sign the paperwork, but the marina was happy for me to start cleaning, get some stuff off the boat that had been left in there, and get my stuff on. So as soon as the paperwork was signed, I could then head straight off. The paperwork had now all been signed and the boat was mine. Yes, get it! So I spent the rest of this day topping up the water, making sure the pump out toilet tank was empty, before heading back to the mooring spot and just doing the last few things ready to head off the next day. I was so excited. But have a listen to those engines. 50 years old, putting out a whopping, are you ready for this? 40 horsepower each. Come on. Still sounded good though. Well, I think so. As I move around the marina, going from pontoon to pontoon, topping up with fuel, topping up water, emptying that toilet tank, it gave me a chance to get used to handling the boat. I'd never driven a boat with twin engines, and moving them with the engines rather than just the steering wheel was a great experience, and this became invaluable. So time's about 8:40 and I'm just about to pull out of the marina for the last time and head up the Thames. So air of trepidation, but it'll be good fun. You're probably asking yourself two questions. One, how excited must I have been? And two, does this fella actually own any clothes because he's never got a top on? Well, as it happens, for this first week I wasn't going to need many clothes. I don't know if any of you living in the UK can remember the weather that we had tail end of September 2021. Out of nowhere we suddenly got another week's summer. You can see from my video, it was absolutely incredible. How lucky was I? The weather was such a blessing. It gave me a bit more of a chance getting used to crewing a boat of this size, driving a boat, which I hadn't done in quite a few years. Even going through locks. A lot of them didn't have lock keepers this time of year, so just getting used to doing the whole boating thing again in really nice weather. A lot of the mornings were the same. There would be a heavy mist or a thick fog, and then by midday that would clear and just the sunshine would come out the rest of the day. Nearly 9:30, the fog's still really thick. Look at it behind. Lovely though. before anyone jumps on me in the comments about not turning my engines off. At this stage, between leaving the controls of the boat, grabbing the mid and stern rope, going up the steps to tie the boat off, it was sheer blind panic. What I tended to do is when I was up there, shut the lock gates, then come down and turn the engines off. I can remember exactly how I was feeling looking at this clip. It was 3 or 4 days into the trip, and it suddenly hit me that something I first spoke of when I was 15 years old and started making a plan in 2019. I was living it. It was happening, and yeah, I felt extremely emotional, even if that duck found it funny. By this time I really started to relax into it, just realising that this was my life now. No more racing about. However long it took for the water tank to fill up, that was fine. I even started enjoying emptying the chemical toilet. Who am I kidding? But you get what I'm saying. It just comes to a point where it suddenly hits you. Why am I racing about? This is it now. The weather was great. The evenings I just seemed to appreciate more than ever that I had the boat, I had this life, and just make the most of it. What had started to become a normal evening for me was having something to eat and then going to stand on top of the boat or sit on the boat having a beer, just absorbing my surroundings, sometimes chatting to people, sometimes not. This is the other night where I said it just suddenly hit me that I'd achieved something I set out to do. I was probably even more emotional this night because I just felt like I was in the middle of nowhere and just nothing but wildlife. You could hear the owls, and it was such a great evening. Moving forward now, well into my second week, and this was actually the last night of all the good weather. I've been due to have the boat out at a boatyard, but I'd asked the guy if I could extend it to the following weekend because I was having such a great time and the weather's so good. But by the next morning, just a little bit of rain, that's all. Yeah, that was it for the next few days, nothing but rain. Didn't do a lot of filming, did a lot of concentrating because the rain was so heavy, but I was still smiling, I was still enjoying it. But on the last day, the sun came out, the skies were blue, and I'd moored up in a familiar place, somewhere that would become even more familiar as time went on. It was my last night on the water, and the next leg of this journey, where I'd refit the boat to make it more of a liveaboard, was about to happen. So we come to the end of this part of the journey, finding the boat, buying the boat, and enjoying it for a few weeks before the work commences. But that'll be another story. Thanks for watching.